Hey everyone, welcome back to 996. The Howl Utah wins 7-2 against the New York Islanders. But before we get into the game, it's officially official. I wanted to wait until the announcement that Clayton Keller has made it to Team USA, the Olympic hockey team. Congratulations to Captain Keller. Well deserved. He's had pretty much as worse of a year you could have, losing the passing of his father. It's affected his play. He's not playing up to his standards. He needed some good news. The Utah Mammoth not really providing that until before the Islanders game. So it's great that he gets rewarded to go to Italy and play in the Olympics. Last year, he did everything he could. He got 90 points. He was captain of Team USA in the World Championship in the summer. He led and captained that team to a gold medal, and so he for sure deserves it. And hopefully that gives him a little bit more confidence, a little bit pep in his step, and hopefully he could take this, making the Olympic roster, and help lead the Mammoth out of this, molasses of the past 31 games since game number 10. And it looks like it helped him. He got 3 points against the Islanders yesterday. So let's finally get into the game. Vejmelka is back. He is not on long-term injured reserve. He was eligible for this game to come back, and he does. And we need Vejmelka for the rest of this season. The second half of the season, it's going to be the bulk of Vejmelka getting the starts, just like we saw last season where he started over 20 games in a row. This game against the Islanders, it had the Utah Mammoth's worst performance of this season and the best performance of this season. And the worst performance of this season for the Mammoth was this first period. Just the Islanders had all the pressure early. They outshot Utah 8-0 in the first 8 minutes of the game. Shot attempts were 14-0 in favor of the Islanders. Not even a shot attempt by Utah. They were just heavily hemmed in their zone, barely even having any offensive zone entries. They weren't even getting into the zone, let alone attempting for a shot or a shot attempt. There's nice saves by Vejmelka, including a cross-ice one-timer. He kept the team in it early. He was dialed in, making saves in the first period where it seemed like the team was in a hangover from, I guess, New Year's in New York City. But now Vejmelka, he started on time and locked in. There was a penalty kill early in the first period that the Utah Mammoth kill off, which was very important. You don't want to give the home team an early lead and let the crowd into it. And then finally, Utah does get a power play with 6 minutes left in the first period. And at the 14-minute mark of the first, they still had no shots on goal. But on the power play, they get 5 shots on goal. They don't score on it, but it helps generate momentum for the rest of the game. And they do build on that power play. After that power play, the last 5 minutes, 4 minutes of the first period were pretty much all Utah. They finally had some sustained pressure in the O-zone, enjoying some possession in the O-zone time. There's a Kerfoot goal that gets immediately disallowed due to a high stick. So we end the first period 0-0. Utah was outshot 11-5 by the Islanders. And as I said previously, they had 5 shots on that power play. So they had 0 5-on-5 shots in that first period. Absolutely abysmal, terrible, the worst start of the season for Utah, and they only had 33% of 5-on-5 possession. I expected that number to be way lower, like 10 or 15%, but I guess the last 5 minutes of that first period, they really, took the game to the Islanders. So we go into the second period, 30 seconds in, Dylan Guenther gets his first of the game, assisted by Hayden and Mikhail Sergachev. Guenther takes this puck through the neutral zone into the offensive zone off the rush and just snipes it past the goaltender. A great snipe to make it 1-0 Utah after a miserable start to the first period and to the game. After that goal, Keller, who just recently became an Olympian, he has a chance right in the crease, right in front of the goaltender off a nice feed from Peterka, but he gets denied. And then 2.5 minutes into the second and 2 minutes after Utah scored, the Islanders score. Pretty much a mirror image of how Utah scored, just coming down the wing off the rush, and they snipe it past Vejmelka. Utah really needs to learn how to hold on to leads for long periods of time. We saw in the Nashville game where they let 3 leads go away. Like 3 times in the game, Utah had a different lead, and Nashville just came back and scored and ended up winning that game. So Utah definitely needs to buckle down when they get a lead and have some good consecutive shifts right after they score. After making it 1-1, there's a nice Schmaltz chance in the high slot. He hits the post. Utah goes on the penalty kill. Thankfully, they kill it off to keep the game tied, because after that kill, Dylan Guenther scores again to make it 2-1, assisted by Krause and Hayden. A great cycle play by Utah on this play. Hayden on the sideboards, finds Krause behind the net, also on the boards, and a great feed low to the slot. And Dylan Guenther one-times it to make it 2-1. They get a power play right after making it 2-1, and they get 0 shots on it compared to their first power play where they had 5. But after that power play where they don't score, Schmaltz scores to make it 3-1. A great play by Schmaltz. He causes a turnover at the Utah defensive zone blue line and just takes the puck from the defensive end all the way to the net through the neutral zone. It's a 2-on-1 with him and Keller, and he's looking at Keller the whole way but doesn't make the pass and instead snipes it past the goal. Another snipe. There's so many snipes in this game. So Schmaltz makes it 3-1, an unassisted goal. Great individual effort by Schmaltz with a great defensive play, and it leads into an offensive play, and he executes and finishes and gets that goal. So after 3-1, there's a Guenther and Krause 2-on-1. Guenther passes it to Krause, and Krause gets a shot off, but gets blocked by a defenseman, and then Utah commits a 4-minute penalty for high sticking. Questionable call because Kerfoot doesn't really high stick the guy. The opposing player stick lifts Kerfoot's stick, and in doing so hits himself in the face with Kerfoot's stick. So I feel like the responsibility was on the Islanders player. Like, you stick lifted, causing the stick to go in the air, and you hit yourself. So disagreed with this call, and thankfully Utah's able to kill it off. It was late in the second period, about 2.5 minutes left. So they had a great lucky break of the second period intermission between right in the middle of the penalty. So they had 2.5 minutes in the second to kill off, and then 1:30 to kill off in the third, and they kill off both of them. The 2.5 minutes in the second, they let in 3 shots on goal, but they escape with a 3-1 lead into the third. The Islanders still outshot Utah, only 8-6, but Utah with 3 goals on those 6 shots, and they enjoyed about 59% of 5-on-5 possession. So definitely a much better period than the first. And then in the third period, after killing off that early penalty power play that they committed in the second, they score on their own power play. It's Sergachev from Keller and Guenther, just a clean wrister from Sergachev to make it 4-1. Back-to-back goals for Sergachev. I said it in the 40-game progress report where maybe Sergachev just needs to shoot a little bit more. Just add an element to that power play, because I feel like teams know Sergachev's never going to shoot. It's always going to go through Keller, and Keller's going to be the playmaker. And once that puck's on Keller's stick, you should expect a one-timer from somebody. So it's great that Sergachev's finally shooting, and he's getting rewarded with 2 games and 2 goals. So great to see that. And Utah goes back on the power play, and Keller scores, the captain, to make it 5-1. On this play, I was screaming at my TV for Schmaltz to shoot. Like, Schmaltz gets an unbelievable pass from Sergachev for a great one-timer, and he defers and passes it back across the ice. But it ends up being the right play because Keller had an open net, and he just slings it into the net to make it 5-1. After Utah made it 5-1, they kind of went into defensive mode, trying to protect the lead, and that's when the Islanders finally get some offensive pressure from the first period. It's been gone the whole game since, but they finally stack shifts on shifts in Utah's D zone. Utah commits a penalty, and on the power play, the Islanders score to make it 5-2, but Utah scores 2 quick goals to make it 7-2 and end the game. The 6th goal was Dylan Guenther's hat trick of the night, assisted by Krause and Durzi. Just a 2-on-1, another 2-on-1. Krause had a great game too. Krause and Guenther receives the pass and shoots it into the net to get his hat trick, to get his 20th goal of this season in game 41. That is the fastest in Utah history to reach 20 goals. Utah leads the league in hat tricks as well. So it seems like Utah's an offensive dynamo, but they just need to be more consistent Offensively, in the 7th goal is Schmaltz, assisted by Peterka and Keller. A great offensive zone power play. They sort of make a triangle from behind the net to the slots, and Peterka finds Schmaltz, and he risks it to make it 7-2. And that's game. Dylan Guenther gets 4 points on the game. Keller and Schmaltz each had 3 points on the game. So Utah's best players came to play. The top 6, everybody in the top 6 really led the charge and won the game for the team. They have to be the best players consistently, and they were in that game. And Vejmelka had to be solid, and he was. He really won that game for them because of that first period performance. Without that performance, Utah's down early, their confidence gets shot. So great job by Vejmelka to start the game on time when it seemed like the rest of the team did not. Overall, Utah was outshot 22-21. So 7 goals on 21 shots. That's really unbelievable. Power play 2 for 5 and PK 4 for 5. Faceoffs 49%. And the expected goals 5 on 5. Both Money Puck and Natural Stat Trick both said Utah should have scored just about 1 5 on 5 goal, but they end up actually scoring 5 5 on 5 goals. And the Islanders were expected to score about 2 5 on 5 goals. So it's great that Utah finally, when the analytics say Utah shouldn't have scored, they actually do score and outpace that expectation. So that's it for me. Thank you for watching. They got the New Jersey Devils Saturday and then the New York Rangers Monday. And then they have a 7-game homestand. So they got to build on this win. Huge win, 7-2. And just build on this confidence. So that's it for me. Thanks for watching. If you like what you see, spread the word. And as always, thank you for your support.